Juan Fernandez from Guapa TV, Puerto Rico. All right, Mr. Thompson, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about your fantastic documentary. So let me ask you this, because I heard from your producer saying that obviously you're a fan, but also you're very passionate about the history that you're making in getting this documentary made. So I wonder if you could talk to me about, given that it took so long to restore it. I imagine you have this treasure, but then you have the story to tell. So the challenge as a director of like, do I keep everything? How do I structure it? How do I use it to tell the story I want to tell? Because it must have been really hard for you.
Yeah, the Summer of Soul movie was a complete exercise in an abundance of riches. I mean, I'm dealing with over 40 hours of some of the best concert footage ever, from like Sly and the Family Stone, Nina Simone, Mongo Santa Maria, Ray Barretto, like all these diverse acts, gospel acts, and world music, African acts. And probably the biggest problem that I had was that to tell a 2-hour arc, with 40 hours of music, that was like one of the hardest things. It took me like 6 months just to find the perfect rhythm to tell this story and to show you the musical performances.
All right. So one of the things that as a Puerto Rican who was born and raised, and I really appreciated you including sort of the intersection with the Latin performances in that was included, and that's going to be part of the conversation. So I just want to ask you, is there are Latin artists from that time that you really, really admire? And is there a contemporary that you think it's their equal?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's beautiful about Summer of Soul is the fact that how inclusive it is of all the cultures. And, I know for a lot of people that look at New York from afar, they might tend to see it as like, they might tend to see Harlem just as the Apollo Theater and Sylvia Soul Food. And it's such a, diverse array that, there's some people that don't even know about, like Spanish Harlem, like on the East Side, and the fact that, Nuyorican culture pretty much started there. But yeah, I mean, there's a wide, diverse array of artists, past and present, that have contributed, like too many to mention in like such a short time period. But basically it's this movie helps at least
start the conversation
history.
And start the conversation
it helps
regarding
restore
that.
the history. Yeah.
So quick question, obviously you talk about, one of the things I appreciate also is sort of the healing power of music. I wonder if that zero in on you once you started making music as a musician, or is that something that you always knew as a music lover before you actually were a musician?
As I was a child that was fortunate enough to grow up in a household with about 5,000 records. So, music has always been sort of a cathartic, sort of a relaxing experience for me. And that's the gift I always wanted to share with the world. Even when faced with the task of directing this film, having never directed before, but I do know that my ability to tell musical stories, be through the records I produce or the books that I write or the classes I've taught on my podcast, that this is really just an exercise in creativity. And I think that Summer of Soul shows, my plan with the Summer of Soul movie is to show you how music can bring people together, especially this year that we just had. The timing couldn't have been perfect. I couldn't plan for a more apropos time for Summer of Soul to come out than like right now, when people need it the most, something uplifting.
That is true. Okay, my time is up, but I'm going to take my 2 seconds to say you need to make another movie. Appreciate you, and stay safe wherever you are. Okay, sir?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.